Hello students, welcome to Learner's Planet. In this session of structure of the atom, we are going to discuss about the atomic number and the mass number of an atom. Right? We'll also discuss about the distribution of electrons in the atom in different shells. There are certain rules according to which the electrons are distributed in the shells of an atom. See, we have already discussed about the structure of atom, the various models of atoms proposed by the scientists, that is the Bohr model, the Rutherford model, right? According to Bohr, what is the thing? That in the center of the atom there is a nucleus in which protons and neutrons are present, whereas electrons revolve around the nucleus in fixed circular paths called as orbits. So we'll also be discussing here about the distribution of electrons in these orbits, in these circular paths, which are also called as shells. Right? So let's start our session here, students. See, what is the atomic number? The number of protons in the nucleus of an atom is known as atomic number of the element. Right? And it is denoted by the symbol Z. So the number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom. Now all the atoms of an element have same atomic number. Say for example, I am taking the element as sodium. Now all the atoms of sodium will have 11 protons. That is, all the atoms of one element have got same atomic number. It is generally denoted by the letter Z and written at the bottom of the symbol of that element. See, I have written here sodium. The symbol of sodium is Na, and 11 will be written here at the bottom of this symbol. So, atomic number of an element is equal to number of protons in one atom of that element. Right? Now, nucleus of an atom is composed of protons and neutrons, which are collectively called as nucleons. See, within the nucleus of an atom, there are protons and the neutrons. So, protons plus neutrons are called as what? Nucleons. Right? See, this diagram is depicting this. This is a nucleus, and within this there are the protons and the neutrons. Right? Now, atomic number, this proton and neutron are present. This tricolored should not be there. I think these two should be there. Atomic number of sodium is 11. That is, there are 11 protons in the nucleus of sodium atom. Likewise, atomic number of carbon is 6. So, for carbon, the atomic number is 6. Z is 6. And how many protons are there in the nucleus? 6. The atomic number of hydrogen is 1. Therefore, for hydrogen, what will be Z equal to? 1. There is 1 proton in the nucleus. All the atoms of the same element have same number of protons in their nuclei, and hence they have the same atomic number. Now students, we know that an atom is electrically neutral. An atom is not charged. An ion is charged. The cation is positively charged and the anion is negatively charged. But an atom is electrically neutral. So the number of protons in an atom is equal to the number of electrons. So what we can say here, that atomic number is equal to the number of protons, and which is further equal to the number of electrons. See, we can take an example over here. Let's take up chlorine. Chlorine, the symbol is Cl. What is the atomic number of chlorine? It's 17. So, Z is equal to 17. And what is the atomic number? It is the number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom of element, right? So the number of protons in the nucleus of chlorine will be equal to 17. Now chlorine is electrically neutral, so the number of electrons will be equal to again 17, right? So if you're provided with the atomic number, it means what has been given to you, it is the number of protons. And do remember, in an atom which is electrically neutral, the number of protons is equal to the number of electrons. So this is about the atomic number. Let's take up the mass number. Electrons have negligible mass. So the entire mass of atom lies in its protons and neutrons, which are present in the nucleus. See, this is the structure of atom. This is the Bohr model, I can say. Now in this, say, nucleus is residing at the center, and these are the various shells in which electrons are distributed. Now what is the mass of electron? It is 1 by 1831 of the mass of hydrogen atom. So it is 1 by 1831 of mass of proton, right? So the mass of electron is negligible. So all the mass of an atom will be residing in the nucleus. So nucleus consists of what? Neutrons and protons. What are neutrons and protons collectively called? Nucleons. Protons and neutrons have approximately 1 unit mass. What is the relative mass of proton? It's 1 unit, and neutron is also 1 unit. You know, this neutron is 0.018% heavier than proton. Okay. So the mass of neutron, they have approximately 1 unit mass. The sum of the number of protons and neutrons is called the mass number of the atom. So what is the mass number? It is the number of protons and the number of neutrons residing in the nucleus of an atom. So the mass number of an element is denoted by the letter A. By how the atomic number is denoted? It is denoted by the letter Z. But mass number is denoted by the letter A and is written at the top of the symbol of element. Say sodium is there. Let's take up sodium only. The mass number is 23 and the atomic number is 11. So it is written like this. The mass number of sodium is 23. So we can say that for sodium, A is equal to 23. Likewise, the mass number of carbon is 12. So for carbon, A is 12. The mass number of hydrogen is 1. So for hydrogen, A is equal to 1. Now in the notation for an atom, the atomic number, mass number and the symbol of the element are written as. How are they written? I'll show you. See, this is the symbol of the element, the mass number on the top and the atomic number at the bottom. Atomic number is equal to number of protons, right? Mass number is equal to number of protons plus number of neutrons, right? So electrons are not involved in the mass number. Why so? Because the mass of the electron is negligible. So the entire mass of an atom is due to the mass of the protons and the neutrons, whose relative mass is 1 unit. See, this is the representation. This is sodium. It is written as Na, 23 and 11. Oxygen, O16 and it should be 8, not 2. And aluminium, 26 and 13. Right? So this is how an element is represented with its mass number and also the atomic number. So what is the relationship between mass number and atomic number? Mass number is equal to number of protons and number of neutrons, and or the mass number will be equal to the atomic number plus the number of protons. The number of neutrons. What is the mass number? The atomic number plus the number of neutrons. Right? So there is a relationship between the mass number and the atomic number. So now I hope that you have understood about the mass number and the atomic number. Now we'll discuss about the distribution of electrons in an atom. Now there is a new term, that is electronic configuration of elements. What do you mean by this electronic configuration? The arrangement of electrons in various shells or energy levels of an atom of the element is known as its electronic configuration. See, what Bohr suggested was that the protons and the neutrons, they are residing in the nucleus of an atom, and the electrons are revolving around the nucleus in fixed circular paths. Now these circular paths, they have got specific energies. So we also call them as energy levels. So an electron will not emit any energy when it is moving in that particular energy level. But as soon as it moves from one energy level to the other, it emits or absorbs energy. I'll show you this. See, this is what Bohr suggested. The electrons are revolving in different energy levels. So when it will move from first energy level to the second, what will happen? It will absorb energy. When it comes back from the third energy shell to the second energy shell, it emits energy. But when it is moving in one energy level, it is neither absorbing energy nor emitting energy. So how the electrons are distributed in these energy levels, or the distribution of electrons in these energy levels, is called as electronic configuration of an atom, of element. So this arrangement of electrons in various shells of an atom of the element is known as its electronic configuration. Now students, there has to be certain rule. So the rule was given according to the Bohr-Bury, or it was given by Bohr and Bury. The maximum number of electrons which can be put in a particular energy level or shell was given by Bohr and Bury. Now according to Bohr-Bury scheme, the maximum number of electrons which can be accommodated in any energy level of the atom is given by 2n square. So what is the maximum number of electron in any energy level, or the maximum number of electrons an energy level can accommodate? It's 2n square. Now in its first energy level, n is equal to 1. So the maximum number of electrons in the first energy level can be 2. So the energy levels are denoted by either the numerals first, second, third, fourth, or by the alphabets, that is K, L, M, N. K shell, L shell, M shell and N shell. The number of electrons in the second energy level. Say, according to Bohr and Bury, the maximum number of electrons in any shell is equal to 2n square. Now in this case, n is equal to 2. So the maximum number of electrons will be equal to 2n square. So it is 8. Likewise, in the third energy level, n is equal to 3. So the maximum number of electrons which third energy level can accommodate is 18. 2 into 3 square. So the electrons in different energy levels will be the first energy level 2, then 8, then 18. Right? It can be more than 18 also. It can be 32 also. This 32. So these are the maximum number of electrons which an energy level can accommodate. Let's write the electronic configuration of an element. See, let's write the electronic configuration of carbon, the simplest atom. What is the atomic number of carbon? It is 6. That is, the number of protons in carbon is equal to 6. So the number of electrons in carbon will be equal to 6. So let's distribute this. The first energy level, electronic configuration, will be equal to, the very first energy level will have 2. Now how many more electrons are left? 4. Right? So the second energy level in the carbon is having 4 electrons. Likewise, if I am writing the configuration of sodium, whose atomic number is 11, that is, the number of protons is equal to 11. So what will be the number of electrons? That will be also equal to 11. Now the configuration of sodium will be equal to, in the first energy level it's 2, then 8, and then left is 1. Now students, there is another rule for it. Let's read that rule. The next rule is the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the outermost shell of an atom is 8. That is, the maximum number of electrons which can be present in the outermost shell is what? Is 8. Now, electrons in an atom do not occupy a new shell unless all the inner shells are completely filled with electrons, right? Or all the inner shells are completely filled. So these are 2 more rules which you have to remember. The very first rule is that every energy level can have maximum of 2n square electrons, where n is the number of the energy level. The second is the maximum number of electrons which an atom should have in the outermost orbit should be 8. It should not be more than 8. And the last point is that the electron in an atom do not occupy a new shell unless all the inner shells are completely filled. Right? So let's take the example of magnesium. The atomic number of magnesium is 12. It means how many protons are there? 12. And how many electrons will be there? 12. So what will be the distribution of these electrons? 2, 8 and 2. Students, it can't be like that 2, 6 and 4. It can't be like this. Or it can't be like 2, 2 and 8. Right? This is the first energy level, the second energy level and the third energy level. So the electrons should fill up completely the energy level, then they'll move up. So this is also wrong and this is also wrong. Then there is another clause that the outermost shell should have 8 electrons. It can accommodate 8 electrons. Say for example the atom of neon. Neon, the atomic number is 10. So the number of protons in neon will be equal to 10 and the number of electrons in neon will be also equal to 10. So the configuration will come up 2 and 8. So that is this atom of neon is having 8 electrons in its outermost shell. So that is why it is stable. Students, it also determines the stability of an atom. So the atoms with 8 electrons in their outermost shell are highly stable or are stable. Whereas the others which do not have 8 electrons in the outermost shell, they are unstable. Let's take up the example of aluminium here. The atomic number of aluminium is 13. That is, the number of protons will be equal to 13. And also, the number of electrons will be equal to 13. So what will be the configuration? It will be 2, 8 and 3. So you have to remember 3 things here, that each energy level can have 8 can have 2n square electrons. The electrons cannot move to higher energy level unless the lower or the inner energy levels are completely filled. And lastly, that the maximum number of electrons that an atom can have in its outermost shell is 8. Okay, we can also write the configuration of argon. Argon is what? I'll write the atomic number of argon. Say argon, the atomic number is 18. Atomic number is 18 means the number of proton is equal to 18. And so the number of electrons is also equal to 18. What will be the configuration? 2, 8 and 8. So argon and neon are having 8 electrons in their outermost shell. Whereas magnesium, aluminium, they are not having 8 electrons. So argon and neon are stable, whereas magnesium and aluminium are unstable, right? So this is about the electronic configuration, that is the distribution of electrons in an atom, in the different energy levels or shells of an atom. I hope you have understood this. I hope you have understood how to write the electronic configuration. It's very simple, students. Do remember these rules. So this is all about this session, students. In the next session, we'll be discussing about the valency of an element. See, what is valency? Why few atoms form cations? Why few form anions? So we'll be discussing about the valency, the number of valence electrons in our next session. So thank you, students. I hope you have understood the concepts explained in this session, and be prepared for discussing valency. Just go through the text and then sit to listen the session. So thank you, students, and do have a nice time ahead.